Welcome, friends, to our Friday's practice titled Yoga for Stress Reduction. I have nicknamed this class Down to Earth. So down to earth to me is this place of being honest and truthful for whatever the experience is in the present moment. So really that is mindfulness or awareness. I'm going to start together and we're on the mat today, and I'd like everybody to bring yourself close to the earth in a place that you're comfortable. Welcome to class. Begin by laying down on the back. Maybe have a strap around for later in class, or you may or may not want to use it. It's just already making choices for yourself. Okay, so the practice of down to earth, let's keep it simple. What's the sensation in the back body? Where are in your energy right now? So when we learn to start to pay attention to that nervous system, we can bring ourselves into a place of regulation and ease to be able to see what is here now. So let's start with our eyes closed, and then let your eyes drift over to the right in your eye sockets, with keeping the skull in neutral. All right, so the skull stays in neutral, eyes over to the right. So combining those practices of proprioception, so feel your eyes move over to the right, and then interoception, sensing the sensation in the eye. So not trying to strain or push. What do you notice in the eye muscles? Moving our eyes is another place where we can begin to access the vagus nerve. So if a yawn comes, just let it come up. Okay, let the eyes come back into neutral. There's the yawn. Okay, sense the eyes in neutral, and then notice, did your head move? Right, so the truth of the matter is the head sometimes gets patterned to move with the eyes. So we're going to decouple that. Let the eyes only shift over to the left. Look softly to the left. And breathe. Sense everything you can that's happening in the eyes. Maybe you notice any colors or patterns. Just stay in open awareness there. Okay, nice and easy. Let the eyes shift back into neutral. Open your eyes, and then let's come into a place where we're starting to model moving with ease in a gentle windshield wiper movement. Right, so windshield wiper is just allowing a knee to come down, anything that you want to do with your hands. Right, so my hands want to come above my head, but yours don't have to do that. Just find a place where you begin offering yourself more care and comfort as we begin to organize or repattern the body into moving with ease. And keeping it simple. Feel the pelvis moving on the earth. All right, so sense the movement. And then when you feel ready, make your way into stillness. Maybe you relax the knees towards each other if that feels better, like tenting your knees, right? So maybe tenting your knees together. Okay. Now let's begin turning our attention consciously to the breath in the body. Slowing down and paying attention to your breath. Observe. What is the experience of the breath right here, right now? Right? So not trying to invent anything or avoid anything. Right? What is the truth of the experience? Okay, have the sense that the bones in your body are growing heavier. So this heaviness or connection to the earth. The bones growing a little bit heavy allows your back to settle on the earth. And now let's begin participating with the breath to access shifting the energy around, right? Engaging that parasympathetic nervous system. Right, so we all breathe at different paces. When you start your next breathing pattern on the inhale, begin to count. And then exhale with ease. And then one more time, when you get to that inhale, count. Exhale with ease. Okay, relax here for a moment. We're going to begin that samavriti, that equal part breath. But the most important quality is that it simply be smooth. And so we're going to try to match the inhale pace with the exhale, and have the exhale match. If your exhale goes a little bit longer, enjoy it. Okay, let's take a few rounds. Pay attention on purpose, feeling the breath in your body. Count. Okay, go through maybe 3 or 4 more rounds, becoming aware of your breath in your body has many benefits to it. But really, for me, it's the barometer, it's the check-in. How am I breathing? If my breathing is short or staccato or jagged, that tells me that I'm in the sympathetic nervous system. Right? If my breath is slow and low and soft, that tells me I'm in that place of ease and regulation of the parasympathetic nervous system. And as you finish this next round, drop into your normal breathing and then sense what's here now. Can you sense the heaviness of the body on the earth? Right? Scan for any comfort or any tightness. Just allowing it all in equanimity. Okay, maybe open your eyes if your eyes are closed. And let's come once again to that windshield wiper movement. So be present with the sensation in the pelvis and the lower back, or maybe even your feet. Becoming awake and aware of your body in space and the sensation. And the more we can begin to integrate our brains or our central nervous system to our peripheral nervous system, it allows us to regulate our mood, our unconscious stress patterns, right? And when something is left to the unconscious realm in the brain, it runs in the background, reduces your energy, increases your anxiety. So the practice of being right here, right now with what is, the truth of what is here, that down to earth place, is where it's at. Okay, let the knees stand in neutral. If you have a high blanket underneath your head, you can take that out because we're going to come into a low bridge. I have a low blanket, so I'm going to keep the blanket here. Let your attention sink into your feet and then have a little traction in your feet, and it'll put a little bit of pressure in the lower back. So sense the lower back lightly pressing into the mat. So the muscles of the legs are not turned on strongly, but they are activated lightly. Okay, so then once you feel that, just feel the traction. It's really nice for your lower back where it says, here's a little bit of lengthening and then back into neutral. Okay. Let's pause. What's here now? What's the sensation? Okay, now let's lift into the low bridge. Once again, press lightly through the feet and lift your pelvis up an inch or two. I have to slide the blanket back. Allow your cervical spine to lengthen, and then feel the weight show up in your upper back and shoulders. Okay, and then once you lift, see if you can soften your leg muscles a little bit more. So once I lift, I'm able to soften my left gluteal pretty good if I talk to it. But my right gluteal, even when I'm talking to it, is still in that contracted place. So becoming awake and aware of what is the sensation, what is the truth of the experience, right? Not needing it to be anything or strive for it. The practice is to be engaged and mindful of what's actually here, right? This place of be here, be here now. Okay, nice and easy. Lower it down. Sense the gluteal muscles coming offline and the lower back coming into neutral. And now let's shift our focus to our arms. So let the body be heavy. As you begin reaching your arms up, go to a comfortable place. So maybe it's 12 o'clock, maybe it's 1 o'clock, or 11 or 10 as we're coming to reverse of the clock. So come to the comfortable place and now pull your shoulders down to the earth. So pull your shoulders down to the earth. Feel the bones move. If you're not quite sure what that is, reach your fingertips strongly towards the ceiling. Feel your shoulder heads come off of the mat. And then once again, pull them down to the earth. Okay, sense the upper back. Sense the light activation of the abdominals. Right, maybe you notice the energy in your hands. I can feel just a little pulsing or tingling in my hands. And then nice and easy, lower the hands down. And now let's coordinate that breath with the movement. When you're ready to breathe in, fingertips come up. When you get to about 12 o'clock, start to pull your shoulder heads back to the earth as you reach your arms up. Notice if the lower ribs are popping up. See if you can pull the back body down onto the earth. And then as you exhale, lower your hands down. And then pause there for a moment. So we want the torso, or that large portion of the body, to stay quiet, grounded, close to the earth. And we're going to use that sense of grounding to move the arms. Let's do maybe three or four. Inhale, reach the arms up. Pull those shoulder heads close to the mat. Exhale, draw it down. What's the experience now? Be curious. And then pause here for a moment. Just allow the brain to take in the sensation of the body. And then let's combine the low bridge with the arms. When you're ready, let your feet grow heavy. Press into the earth lightly with a little bit of traction. When inhale comes, lift your arms comfortably. Try to keep the shoulder heads on the earth the whole time. And then exhale, lowers it down. Right? Enjoy the simplicity of it. Pay attention. Be curious. Okay, pause there for a moment. And now begin pulling your knees into your chest, Apanasana. So hug your knees in, and then rock and roll a little bit. Where's the sensation? Okay, let your feet settle to the earth. Maybe place your hands on the bones of the pelvis, right? So there's this part of stability at the base of your spine. And then nice and easy, send your tailbone back into the mat so it's a little tiny arch. Feel the lumbar spine peeling off of the mat. And then reverse it. Press the lower back into the mat, tip your tailbone up towards the ceiling. Okay, so creating a little bit of mobility by paying attention to functional movement in the pelvis. Right? You may begin to feel that you get a little more range with each round, just a little bit more. No pushing or striving, just be interested. Okay, pause for a moment. Just notice what's here now. So if you have the strap handy, grab a hold of the strap. You don't necessarily need it, but if you do, grab a hold of the strap. And let's start with opening the hamstring on the right. So pull the right knee into the chest and then slide the strap on the bottom of the foot or simply hold on to the back of the leg. Okay, so we're not going to start in that end range of um, motion, right? Or that end range, put a little bend in your knee. Put a little bend in your knee and pull the back of your knee towards you. Right? So you can use your hand to do that. You can use your foot to do that with the strap. So have the sense that the knee is coming close to the body. And then where did the sensation go? All right, so I can feel the tightness in my right buttock as I pull that knee towards me. And even in this bent knee position, you are lengthening out your hamstrings. Okay, let's have a little bit of breathing with this. Inhale, press your heel towards the ceiling, lengthen out in a comfortable way. And nice and easy, smooth exhale, pull the knee in. Drop into that even samavriti breathing. All right, giving yourself time to connect. And then as you come through this next round, explore the most comfortable place. So as you come through it, maybe it's more comfortable for you to have your knee bent. Maybe it's more comfortable for you to have your heel more towards the ceiling. Have the truth of the experience where you can offer yourself care, this place of practicing, befriending your body to what is the experience now, and then stay in the truth. Satya. In yoga, we call that Satya. It's one of the yamas. Okay. Drop into your breath for a couple of rounds. Okay, slowly release the strap. Let that knee come into your chest. And then let's begin pulling that knee out to the side, right? So it almost is like a bound angle leg or a variation of a knee placement for happy baby. Okay, notice the sensation in the hip. If you want to turn it into a little external rotation, where you take the opposite arm to the shin bone and then press the knee away from you. So that puts the hip in external rotation. And maybe you rock around a little bit here. What is the experience? All right, so notice, is there any tension or tightness in your knee? So we're not trying to seek a pain cycle, but it's nice to put a little bit of stress on the knee joints. Right, so that's how the bones repair, is with a little bit of stress. Okay, now let's decompress that leg. Let it come down to the floor. Send it all the way out. And then just simply pause here. Maybe you notice your lower back, there's a little back arch, your natural lordosis of your lower back. Breathe in your body. Okay, let's make our way to the other side. Pull that lever back in. Left foot comes up, strap on the foot. Or support your hands behind your knee. So again, not trying to strive, not trying to make anything happen here. We're just exploring the experience of the hamstrings. Everybody bend that knee. Pull the knee in firmly to you. Okay, notice what's here. Notice how the core starts to turn on by activating that little bit of pulling into the body. Right? There's a gentle bracing that engages your deep abdominal muscles. And then let's add the breathing and moving. Inhale, press the heel towards the ceiling. Find the comfortable range. Exhale, bring it in. Explore that a few more rounds, paying attention on purpose to the experience, maybe in the hip, maybe in the knee, maybe in the foot. If you have any tension or tightness showing up in your neck, soften your breath even more as you even things out. Maybe you soften your hands a little bit more. Okay, find the most comfortable place. And then let's pause here. What's the experience in your leg? Can you feel any pulsing or tingling from the inside as the blood returns back towards the heart? Just allow the body to be heavy on the earth. Okay, now let's bring that knee closer into the body. Maybe it goes out to the side a little bit, coming into the hip in that happy baby variation, right? So maybe it stays there. Maybe you start to draw your heel in towards you, and opposite hand holds the shin. And it's something kind of like a butterfly leg. And then just notice, what's the mobility in the hip? Right, soften even more. Breathe. Have external rotation of the left hip, creating a little bit of space and ease to mobilize through the pelvis. Okay, let that leg come back into neutral and down. Let it go all the way out. Open up through the hip flexor and sense the sensation right at that hip or right at your hip bones. What is the sensation there? And then let your attention go to the back side of the body and notice how the lower back is lightly off the earth. All right, so engaged with the natural curve of your lower spine, so not trying to push the lower back in. Just notice the natural curve, your lordosis of the lower spine, the lumbar spine. We want our natural curves of our spine to be healthy. Okay, once again, gather both knees into your chest, Apanasana. And let yourself come into open awareness as you move from side to side. What is the experience now? Right? It's okay to be in the body, paying attention on purpose to the sensations, thoughts, and feelings that are here now. Okay, drop the left leg only and start to walk it away from your body. And then begin pulling your right knee into your chest. So as the right knee comes in, check in the comfort on the left leg. And you may just want to let the knee relax out to the side. Maybe it's available for you for the foot to come down towards the bottom of the mat, but not trying to force. And now notice how the lower back is now connected to the earth. Right, so lower back is pressing. There's light pressure there, lengthening through those back muscles. And if you do not feel a sense of comfort here, make an adjustment and pull the other leg closer to your body. Right, the truth of what is here now, breathe. And release down. Pull the other leg in. And then begin exploring, dropping that right heel out. Go slow. Right? What's the honesty? Not trying to force yourself or strive. Patience. What's here now? Okay, return to that equal part breath, remembering that your breath is the leading governing body, right? It's your barometer. It will let you know where you are in your nervous system. So participate with it, softening, smoothing. Okay, so here's the last of it. Let that leg come closer to the earth as you begin taking a full body stretch. Right? Just notice the sensation of what it feels like to stretch your body. Okay, and then when you're ready, let's move to a tall seat. Take your time. I'm going to keep myself sideways so you can see what's happening here. So once you arrive in the tall seat, and this is what I see a lot when I'm in class with people, is there's a combination of either a pelvic posterior tilt where their pelvis is tucked under and there's a little bit of shoulder flexion, and that puts yourself in forward head. So what I'd like everybody to do is grab a blanket or a pillow and make sure it's at least 2 inches. Maybe you can use the 2-inch block on the long side, and then slide it underneath the pelvis so that you're seated on it and your pelvis goes slightly in an anterior tilt to bring your spine into spinal extension, right? That tall place. Okay, and then once you're there, lift up your chest, relax your shoulders, and then notice when you're here what musculature is turned on. All right, so my right side neck gets involved with everything. So even though I'm lifted, I can actually feel the tension in my right side chest, maybe even in my shoulder. So come into open awareness to the sensation in your body. Okay, now let's come into in a relaxed way. Let the knees come up and a little bit wide. grab the backs of the legs and lift your chest up. Okay, relax the head. Maybe look forward here. So let's keep the truth in this place of lengthening out through the thoracic spine and trying to keep the neck quiet, or the neck and head quiet. So from here, keeping your eyes gazed forward, pull your shoulder heads forward and round out a little bit. So keep looking at the horizon line. Right, so we're keeping the chin in relatively in neutral. So the movement is coming through the upper back, right? So most of us, thoracic spine gets a little bit stiff. So keeping your gaze forward, begin rolling your pelvis forward, tailbone back, lifting up and keeping your gaze forward. If you don't like your hands behind the back of your legs, you can do it with the hands in front of your legs. And then here's the straight line. Keep the head up, pull the shoulder heads forward, broaden through that upper back, and then begin lifting and then retracting through the shoulders. See if you can keep this movement in the shoulders and the pelvis. Right, repatterning tall posture. Right, so you ever notice when we're doing cat and cow, it feels really good in my body to do cat, right? So that's because that forward flexion shoulders is that home base for me. I spent a lot of times with my shoulder heads forward. Right, so repatterning tall posture through the upper back or thoracic spine. Okay, come to the top, come to a comfortable cross-legged position. Okay, sit tall. And now let's keep the movement in the head and neck only. So maybe you drop the left hand on top of your head and start to bring your left ear over to your left shoulder. Just let the natural movement of the chin happen. And this time, slide your eyes towards the ceiling. Right? So your eyes are actually sliding over to the right a little bit and up. And as you do that, notice where the sensation goes. Right? Maybe you notice your eyes hop around a little bit. So again, using your eyes to access that rest and digest portion of the nervous system. Are you breathing? Okay, let the head come up, and this time place your left hand on your cheek and try to keep your head in neutral as you drop your left shoulder down. So head stays in neutral, and now you're in lateral flexion through the thoracic spine, and bring your head back up. Okay, do that 2 more times. Drop your shoulder only, your hand is supporting your head so that your head is not flexing to the side. Right, just notice, where do you feel the sensation? And come back into neutral, relax that shoulder down, lean forward just a little bit. And then maybe you can sense the sensation of the hand on the face. Maybe you feel a little warmth there, a little fuzzing. Right? And notice how quickly the sensation changes. Okay, come back up. Right hand to the head. And if you have any shoulder pain, you can put your hand down as you draw the left ear over to the left shoulder. So you're sitting tall. And now add the eyes. Let the eyes slide over to the left and up. And as you do that, notice how the sensation changes. Be with it. What is the experience in the body now? Not creating a story. Just what is here now? Okay, let the eyes shift back into neutral. Head comes back up. And now place your right hand on your cheek. Try to keep your head in neutral with a tall spine. And then turn your attention to the shoulder on the right. And then drop the right shoulder down. Right? So hand has a little bit of resistance if the head wants to go. My head really wants to go on this side a lot. And then come back up. All right? So the truth of the matter is the thoracic spine doesn't need the head to move. Creating a little bit of mobility. And reducing the patterns of using our neck to move. Okay, once again, release, lean forward. Right, sometimes they call this yoga mudra. Breathe. Slow and low. All right, notice any thoughts that arise. Become awake and aware of the river of thoughts without getting involved. Okay, walk your body back up. And this time, lean back, lengthen your legs out. Right, so it's that variation of staff pose, Dandasana. Send your legs out, massage your knees. And now let's come into a back bend by drawing the fingertips behind you. Just let your fingertips organize it. Your shoulder is a ball joint. You're going to figure out how to place your hands to retract your scapula. Okay, let your eyes be at the horizon line. And soften into your breath. What's here now? Right? Is there any tension or tightness or restriction? Are you holding your breath? Right? Creating a little bit of mobility through the shoulders. Okay, slowly come back to a tall seat. So feel yourself sit tall. Relax your shoulders back and down. Okay, can you have the sense of spine extending? Notice the musculature involved to keep you lifted. Right? It's a lot of work to stand tall, right? Physically and metaphorically. It's a lot of work. Okay, so let's keep it simple. Now let's bring that right foot into the thigh and bend the knee on the left. Right, so we're going to take a variation of head to knee pose, where you have one out to the side and one in front. Okay. Hands on the front of the shin. Pull your chest toward your thigh. Okay, and then let your gaze be maybe towards your foot, so the head or the neck is staying in neutral. So you're using your eyes to help you keep your cervical spine in neutral. And now let's begin moving it slowly. So being honest of what the opening we have in our hamstrings. Begin to slide that left leg away from you, keeping the body connected to this thigh. Right, so maybe you use a block underneath to support the hamstrings. Maybe you can come further down and then use your hands like hot potatoes. Or maybe you go back to the very beginning place. So you're not trying to strain anything. Just allow yourself a little bit of freedom through the hamstrings. Okay. And then once you've set your position, sense the ease in the lower back. Keep scanning your body in open awareness. Just allowing the body to soften towards the earth. Breathe. So we're in neutral spine and hip flexion. Okay, slowly walk your hands back up. Slide that bent leg out. Once again, lean back, find Dandasana staff pose with a back bend. So retracting the shoulder heads, lifting your heart. Keep your eyes on the horizon. Okay, what's that feel like in your body? Give your breath permission to drop in low. All right. Let's release out of the back bend. Start to pull the right knee in. Ooh, I've lost my. I think my body wants to do the same side over. So I think it's left heel in. Yes. Okay. Finally got it. I caught up. My brain caught up to my body. So maybe hands behind the knees. Pull your chest to your quadricep. Okay, maybe hands in front of the knees. And then let's explore opening the hamstrings on the right. So foot starting to lengthen out, go slow. And then maybe you add the prop underneath. Okay, I'm going to give my right hamstring extra care because my body wants to avoid it. That avoidance pattern is so deep on my right side hamstring that I have blank spaces. It's like my brain says, don't remember, so you don't stretch that right side. And so just offer myself kindness and compassion. I encourage you to offer yourself the same. Make any adjustments so you can relax in a little bit more. And then scan your body in open awareness. Where is the sensation? Again, patterns of comfort or tightness or tension. Be with it. And then notice how it changes. Maybe it gets louder, maybe it gets quiet. Just continue to be with the sensation and breathe. Finding equanimity in the breathing, equal part. Notice how it shifts around. So be curious and offer yourself patience of what's here now. not needing it to be a particular way or expecting it to be a particular way. Be embodied. Right? Practicing that honesty of what is here now. Okay, slowly let the crown of your head come up and then come into a bound angle for a moment. So bottoms of feet come together. Tall spine, so lift your chest, feel your lower pelvis or your pelvis go into a slight anterior tilt, and then lean forward. Maybe you use the elbows on the legs to help open the chain to the lower back. Okay, let's just take 3 soft breathing cycles here. So no hurry, no worry. Okay, and when you feel ready, wiggle your toes, start to bring yourself up, knees come up, and then we're going to make our way down onto the mat. And then once your knees get, or once your head, neck, and shoulders come down, let's drop our knees into a twist. So let's set the pelvis first. Lift your pelvis up a little bit. There's that low bridge, and then swing the bridge over to the left. So swing the bridge over to the left, let the pelvis come down to the earth, and then the knees drop out to the sides. Okay, and this is where you get to have the truth of the matter. If it feels like the top lever is hanging in space, place the 2-inch block in between those 2 levers. And just notice how that stability shows up in your pelvis. Okay. Let your bones settle. Notice how you can be with your sensation. Just allowing this sensation to be sensation. Okay, let's remove the prop, take that top knee up, and then lift the bridge up and then swing the pelvis over to the right, lower the pelvis down to the earth, and let the knees drop over to the left. Okay, have a moment, check in with that top lever. If it feels better for you, it does for me, to take that block and then just prop the leg up. Let your bones settle. Have the sense where you use the prop to release the tension. Return to the soft breathing. Notice how you're breathing. All right, so your breath will tell you where you are in your nervous system. Right? And when we are aware of the truth of where we are in our nervous system, then we can begin to take an action of deeper, nurturing care. You got to know where you are to be able to shift. Okay, take the prop out from underneath, let the knees come up, lift the pelvis, let it swing back into neutral. And then once again, let your feet grow heavy here. Press them into the earth a little bit. Notice how when you press into the feet, it runs the chain, tilts the pelvis. All right, so tune in. Will it feel better to you to lengthen out your legs in a more traditional Shavasana resting pose? Or maybe you join me to the knees bent and the knees tented towards each other. Just let the bones grow heavy wherever you are. All right, sense the bones in your toes. Sense your ankles. All right, sense your knees. And sense the whole of the spine, the torso and the pelvis, heavy. Let the shoulders sink into the earth just a little bit more. Torso and legs growing heavy. Sense your arm bones growing heavy. And then notice all the sensation in your palms. Maybe tingling or fuzzing or pulsing in your fingers. Notice your fingers. Turn your attention to the gentle rise and fall of the chest as you're breathing in softly. Body growing heavy. Deepening the connection to the earth. That sense of peace in the body. Sense your heart beating from the inside. Imagine the head growing heavy. And turn your attention to your eyes. And then once again, with your head in neutral, slide your eyes over to the right. Swallow. A basic exercise from Stanley Rosenberg. If a yawn or a sigh arises, just allow that to happen. Okay. Sense the heaviness of the head, eyes only over to the left, sensing the eyes. Swallow. Shift the eyes back into neutral. Sense the back of the body growing heavy. And the front of the body growing light. And allow yourself to alternate between those two feelings of heavy back body, light front body. Maybe you can be in those two sensations at the same time. Allow any thoughts or feelings to arise and dissolve. As you rest here for another minute or so, be free. And if you want to linger here longer in this sense of peace, close to the earth, please feel free. And if you're ready to move, you can join me in a tall seat for closing class with 3 chants of Om. Okay, prepare. Breathe in. Oh. 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 That practice of yoga, allowing us to tap into our truth of what is here now. The light in me sees the light in you. Namaste.